Hey there, everyone. So, today we're going to be talking about the unsolved case of John Lima. There's not a whole lot on this case because detectives they said it themselves, they don't know. They don't know what's going on in this case. And this has been unsolved since 2005, and they have just nothing. So, this is going to be on the shorter side. But what information we do have, it's odd. It's confusing. Actually, I think one of the detectives, I can't even think of his name right now, I think he actually described this case as being a spider web of information. Because there's somehow a lot of little things, but they don't really add up to anything. So you're going to see when we get into it. It's odd. Um, But yeah, John has been missing since 2005, and it's actually really sad when we get into it, but let's go ahead and talk about it. So, all the links I used for research will be down below, like always. And yeah, so John was born on um, August 29th, 1979, and today he would be 43, but he was 26 when he went missing on October 28th, 2005, from Middleton, Massachusetts. So I'm going to go over some of his distinguishable features. So he is biracial. He is white and Hispanic. He's male. He's 5'10", and at the time he was 170 pounds. He has brown hair and eyes, and has a barbed wire band on his upper left arm, a tribal band on his upper right arm, and a tribal design on his upper back. These are all tattoos, by the way. And the barbed wire one, I think, is the tattoo you're going to see. I couldn't find photos of any of his other tattoos, but that one I will have on the screen. He also has a very light scar across the top of his nose due to a previous fracture. He smoked cigarettes, and he was last seen in a red t-shirt and blue jeans. So, on October 28th of 2005, he disappeared. Presumably, what is originally believed was from his parents' home in Middleton, Massachusetts. And in 17 years, no one has seen or heard from him. It was almost like he fell off the face of the earth. So he lived in the basement of his parents' split level ranch on River Street. His sister, Liz White, actually still lives next door with her family. He grew up in a tight knit, loving family, but when he became a teenager, his family says that he ran into trouble with drugs. He kind of ran into the wrong crowd. His parents said that they didn't like who he was hanging around with, and eventually he also ran into trouble with the law. His mother, Maria, says it was a cause of heartache for her. And this is a quote from Maria. She says, "I used to tell him, John, be careful. You don't need this. You don't need these guys in your life. You don't want to hit rock bottom. I never thought that rock bottom was going to be him disappearing like this." End quote. That quote, especially that last line, it really got to me. I never thought that rock bottom would be him disappearing like this. It's so sad because that could have something to do with why he's gone, and it makes you think, and it's just so sad. But Maria says that she was leaving for work, and that they said bye to each other, and that was it. That was the day that he would go missing. Maria came home around 12:30 a.m. on the 28th and noticed that John's car was not in the driveway. She wasn't surprised because he had told her he was going out and might not come home that night. But at 2 a.m., she was still awake when she heard his car pull into the driveway. Maria says she didn't see him, but she saw the car and assumed he was home, so she went to sleep. This is gonna come up again later, so remember that. The next morning, John wasn't in the house. His bedroom screen was pushed to the ground from the inside out. His bed was still made. On top of the bed, Maria found some of John's personal things, including his wallet and keys. Outside, his car was parked in an awkward, unusual way at an angle. The family knew something was wrong. So the family would report him missing to Middleton police. In the days and weeks after he went missing, Massachusetts State Police and local police conducted a large air, ground, and sea search in the Middleton and Salem area, but those searches would turn up nothing. It turned out that he was not last seen at his parents', but at his girlfriend's apartment in Chelsea, Massachusetts, and police say that he left there at 1:30 a.m. I want to say that I don't know his girlfriend's name or anything like that. I couldn't find it, so I think she might have been left anonymous. So John's Massachusetts driver's license was located inside the apartment in Chelsea, which is odd because his wallet was found in his bedroom in Middleton. So that's really odd. Why was his ID left at his girlfriend's house, but his wallet was found in his bedroom? Like, why did he just have it out? I don't normally take my driver's license out. It's just there. Sometimes it'll expire and I won't realize because I just don't look at my ID. So it's kind of weird that he's just taking it out and leaving it somewhere. Or maybe not. Maybe some people just do that. But it did make me kind of linger on the girlfriend for a little bit. So, moving on. The family have several questions. Like, did he actually make it to the family home in Middleton? If he did, why did he leave the house through his window and not out through the front door? And where is he now? And those are some really good questions, because that first question made me think, was that even him that came home? Was that someone driving his car? They dropped it off at home, make you think that he was there, left his stuff on the bed, and then for some reason they went out through the window. That could explain why the window was popped open, because he's a 26-year-old adult. Even if he lives with his parents, I'm sure they're not going to stop him from coming and going as he pleases. Obviously, they knew that he was going to be gone at 12 something in the morning, so why wouldn't he have just gone out through the front door? You know? Why did he pop out the window screen? Unless it was someone who didn't want to run the risk of running into a family member because it wasn't actually John, it was someone else. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, maybe it was someone staging a scene, but they kind of did it poorly, which would also explain why an ID was left at his girlfriend's apartment. And I'm not saying she was involved. I'm saying that maybe she knows something, maybe she doesn't. But that could explain that little thing. And that's why I kind of think that maybe it explains the window thing and why he did not leave out the windows, because maybe it wasn't him. As for where is he now, that's a really good question. But even after all these years, the known facts about the circumstances of the case are the same. So, Detective Adam Maccini, or Massini, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, I'm really sorry. He actually built a team of investigators to find John. And he says, quote, "We are able to have numerous investigators and different agencies take a look at it from different angles, and I'm determined to find out what happened. The whole case is like a spider web. We believe he left his house on his own free will. What happened after that, I have to find out," end quote. So from that, I kind of feel like they believe that he was at the family home. And that's kind of where I would say I disagree, is just because the way it was, either he left in a rush and maybe he was in like a good headspace, or maybe something was going on and he just left his car there and all of his stuff there. But why would you go home, apparently go into your house, leave the car there, leave your stuff on your bed, go out through the window, and not take your car when you left again, and not take your stuff when you left again? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he was on something, maybe something was going on, and he just did not have the time. I don't know. That's kind of why I'm saying is I feel like it wasn't him. But John's family says the last 17 years had been torture for them. So this is actually a quote from his sister, and she says, "There are days you are so hopeful you think that he is still alive, and then there are other days that are the lowest of the low because you think he is dead and you don't think he's ever going to come back. Living between those two spots is a special kind of hell," end quote. And a quote from his mom, Maria, And she says she doesn't think she'll ever see her son again, but she wants to bring him home. And she says, quote, "I think about him every day. I love him so much. The pain is still there. It doesn't go away." End quote. So John's family is offering a $30,000 reward in this case. And if you have any information, you can contact Middleton Detective Adam Machini, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, I'm so sorry. But you can contact him at 978-774-4424. The extension is 1414. And that is all the information I have on John Lima. So what do you think? Do you think that was him that went home? Now, his mom says, remember, she did not see him. She just saw the car. She heard the car. She went to bed. So she didn't see him. So maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was a friend. Maybe it was one of the guys that he was running around with that his mom didn't particularly like. Maybe there was something going on. Maybe they did something. Maybe they tried to make it look like he went home at some point to get him away from the apartment in Chelsea, or to get his stuff away from the apartment in Chelsea, leaving behind, perhaps accidentally, his ID. But then that would be really stupid on their part, because they clearly didn't put the screen back in the window. So that's really odd. Because if I am staging a scene and I'm popping out a window, I'm going to try to find a way to put the screen back. Or maybe they just couldn't. They said screw it and they left. Maybe they would rather have just left that out, like left the screen popped out, rather than running into someone in the house. Because even if he didn't want to make noise, I'm sure they wouldn't have minded if he came home a little bit late. There was a little bit of noise, he's coming home, he's settling in for the night. I don't think his mom is really going to care. So, and I'm sure he knows how to be quiet. So it's kind of weird that he wouldn't just use the front door. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that makes me believe that maybe it wasn't him, or maybe it was him and something was going on, and then he left and never came back. Either way, I don't think he's ever going to come back alive. I don't know. There's just something in my gut that says if he could have, he would have. I think something happened to him that night, or that morning, I guess, since it was really late. We don't actually know what day it happened on. It could have been the 27th, which is the last time she technically saw him, or 28th, when he supposedly came home and no one actually saw him. So something could have happened then, or maybe like the day before when she technically did see him. I don't know. What do you think? This is definitely so weird. And I'm surprised that there's no other evidence, but I guess in 2005 maybe they didn't have a whole lot of ways of finding evidence. I don't know. But what do you think? This is definitely a spider web. There's a lot of, it feels like there's a lot of little stuff, but not a whole lot of stuff to lead up to an actual, this is what we think happened. Because you could say that he showed up at home, but then you have no idea where he went after. You just have no idea. Because his car is still there, his stuff is still there, you just don't know. I'm gonna stop talking about this now because it's driving me crazy, because oh my gosh, yeah. You know. If you've been listening, this is just really weird. But let me know what you think down below. I know sometimes my comments are off when I'm editing or I'm putting it through YouTube. I click on to hold potentially bad comments for review because I don't want spam or bad comments coming through. But I guess sometimes they just turn comments off. I'm not sure. I'm trying to fix that. I don't understand. But if the comments are open, leave your thoughts down below. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.